live? Oh my parents.
We're live now. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Should we introduce ourselves? Those who have not watched this
Yeah,
game.
you can do if you like.
Okay. Shall we start? Shall we go from this side?
Yeah.
So,
Very
hello.
formal.
I'm Rodrigo. I'm the programmer on Wargroove.
I'm Jay. I'm an artist and designer.
And I'm Ty. And I do things.
Do things.
Okay. So what are we showing off today? This is kind of Rodrigo's.
Yes, Rodrigo, here, take the mouse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fine. We're showing a fairly experimental build. I'm really hoping this will be stable, will not crash, but who knows? Of the map editor for Wargroove. We are gonna be doing, I believe, our first public showing of how the triggers work in the game. You did tweet about it.
I showed some pictures.
Yes.
We've alluded to the trigger system and discussed it publicly before,
Yes.
but we haven't fully shown this working, so it's really quite exciting.
I think there's been quite a bit of discussion on Discord about how it works. I see some Discord regulars on the channel.
Yes.
So, hello to everyone there.
How do you say anemone? Is it anemonemere?
An enemy, yeah.
Anemone, Mir, I guess.
Anemonemere?
Yeah.
How I assume.
I quite like anemonemere.
So if anyone hasn't watched our dev streams before, nothing is final, so don't assume that everything here.
The UI is very much.
Just click the button, come on.
Click the button. Okay, click the button.
And also ask us questions in the thing, and we'll answer questions in real life.
Okay, so if you've seen the E3 stream where Jay and Doris were making a map on the PC gaming show, you might have seen a bit of the map editor. Otherwise, if this is your first time, this is how you make maps in the game. We're going to ship this with the game. It will be available on every platform, that's PC, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PlayStation 4. And you'll be able to...
Sega Saturn.
Sega Saturn, yes, confirmed.
Let me just do a thing.
Yeah. What else is on the VR Boy or?
Keep talking.
Okay.
Messing around with XSplit.
So I think the plan today is we're gonna make a little scenario with lots of custom triggers. See how that goes. It might fail spectacularly, hopefully not. But
I guess to explain what this is, this is typically like a tactical game where you.
Oh yeah, we should talk about the game.
You
Somebody watching doesn't know.
talk about what the game is to explain what we're doing. How what we're doing is not what the game normally is.
Yeah, go on.
So, typical game. It's a strategy game, turn-based. So each of you build up a faction of different units and build up resources to pay for more units, and you kind of advance and take over buildings and push. It's kind of in the vein of.
It's a turn-based strategy game.
Yeah.
It's simple to play, hard to master. Right? That's
Go go for the base pitch here.
Oh, this is what.
It's just a map we're making to on Twitch. Okay.
Nice.
Oh, that's not working. Oh.
Right, so okay, we're going first name
Yeah,
So yeah, Wargroove is
You
a
want?
friendly turn-based strategy game. It's very similar to Advanced Wars and games of that style, although it's got its own thing going on as well. I'm very aware that I'm staring over here, way off camera. And yeah, we're going to show off the map editor. So to deal with the map editor, on a really basic level, you pretty much just pick up tiles and paint. Do you want to show off the panel?
Yeah. So, well, these are still showing the grass biome, but you can choose, like, draw some trees, or you can go and draw some mountains, everything auto tiles.
Yeah, so it's very simple, right? You can make a really easy to play, easy to just drop units in. It's all super simple, but I think we've kind of showed this off quite a bit now. We've generally communicated the idea that it has this really simple to use map editor. You can share your maps and download other people's maps and stuff like that. But what we haven't shown off is the advanced functionality. So that's kind of the goal today. Rodrigo's been working on this for the last couple of weeks. This build hasn't even been tested, so it has a ton of new functionality and no testing. So
someone's saying to turn down the music a little bit.
Sure, we can do that. There we go. So this build hasn't really been tested. It has a ton of new functionality. It might crash, we don't know, but hopefully we'll show off the general idea of what you can do with this and how powerful it is. And given Rodrigo's the most familiar with the new functionality, I think it's...
Well, we talked a little bit earlier. We said we might want to make a little map where Mercy is walking around the map. So Mercy is one of the characters in the game. Do you actually want to draw the map, Jay?
Yeah, go on. I can stretch over that.
Or you can swap places with me.
Nah, I can just come out.
Okay.
Fine.
So the idea is you're gonna start with Mercy in the corner of the map, and we want to make a map where the objective of the map, rather than to kill all enemy units, is just to reach the end.
Adventure.
Yes, a little adventure. Maybe recruit some people along the way, have some ambushes and interesting things happening. We'll see how that goes.
So let's say Mercia can start.
You missed the top.
Yeah, I missed the time, didn't I? So Mercia can start, maybe look up here.
Anamona is asking if we're going to have mirrored placement. And yeah, we do intend to. It's really important. Symmetrical maps are a big part of the game. Not all of them, of course. I think asymmetrical maps are really interesting, but we will have it.
Yeah, this map in particular, because it's more like an adventure map rather than a two-player skirmish map, it will be very asymmetrical. We're not gonna be... It's more like a campaign style map rather than a normal two-player map. But if you're making a two-player or four-player map, you definitely want to have those tools.
Someone asked what the max map size is as well. From a functional perspective, there is no max. You can just set a number. We're probably going to limit that at some point so that it doesn't get out of hand. And there's sort of considerations in terms of downloading other people's maps, file size, etc., etc. So there's some technical limitation there, but it's ultimately right now we can make a map of any size.
Yeah, this map you're looking at right now is 27 by 15, which is what fits the screen at 1080p. We found that maps that are 32 by 32 start getting a bit long. Advanced Wars, I believe, goes up to like 64 by 64. I don't know if anybody likes playing on those maps. Let us know. People have experience in similar games.
Vanessa Cura's in chat, by the way.
Oh, hey.
That's our composer who's doing all
I
this wonderful music.
I believe that the Ragnar track hasn't been publicly shown off, so a version of that will be in this, I presume.
Yeah,
so quite cool.
Yeah.
So we talked about like an adventure map, and the cool thing about an adventure map, we can treat it like a fantasy world and think about what kind of things we want to see in the world and what we can make them do. So we threw a few ideas earlier, so I'm just gonna start off by putting some things in that might fit that. So let's say I put a lake down here. So this lake could be like a magical lake.
Yeah, yeah, we can have like a healing lake, let's say.
Yeah, it's got little healing stones.
Yeah, it looks like there should be a Korok in that.
I hadn't thought of that before.
No, if I see a circle of stones in the water, I just expect a yahaha.
So an example might be, let's say you can step into this lake and you'll be healed by stepping into this lake.
Yes.
This is not quite. Yeah, a little bit.
It's all about
attention to detail.
Yeah.
We talked about having maybe setting up some ambushes in the map, recruiting some units.
Okay, how about Spooky Graveyard?
Yeah, Spooky Graveyard sounds excellent.
Because we're fighting against Felheim, who of course are the kind of skeletal warrior race, so it's one of the most
should probably set it up so the player can walk around the graveyard if they want, but the shortest path is to the graveyard.
Yeah. This is snowy one.
Yeah, the decoration stuff is also, as is everything, really work in progress. So, like you're seeing a bunch of decoration tiles which are not as polished as they will be.
Let's throw some bones in there on the road.
Yeah.
Now you know this is real spooky. But as you said, maybe it's the quickest way to walk around.
Yeah,
so
put some mountain or something.
There's the mountain range.
Your bones look a bit out of place now.
Yeah, I'll have to move that then. So you can't go through the forest, but if you go through here, maybe it'll jump.
Yeah.
We don't
Wait,
no,
yeah,
you
you
don't want forest there
yeah.
because you want it to be quick to go through, right?
Okay, yeah, hold on. How about that?
Yeah.
And then let's come up with some mountains.
I feel maybe you should have a path around. Maybe
Okay.
not. Maybe that's fine.
Okay. That's fine. So that's a spooky graveyard encounter.
Yep.
What other encounters could we have? Maybe a forest ambush.
Yep.
So maybe the forest ambush should be here.
Yeah.
There's just lots of ambushes, really.
Yeah.
Or how about this? You walk on this path here, and as you walk on the path,
Oh, they come from the forest.
archers jump at you from the sides. So
Yep.
2 archers can appear on the sides here. And jump at.
Yep, that makes sense.
Um,
I think it would be cool to have something like some unit that you can get out of your way on the map to go and rescue, like a trebuchet or I don't know if trebuchet makes sense. But we can increase the size of the map if necessary, by the way.
Rescue doggo.
Yeah.
The one in there.
Wait, no, but
it
if
has
you're
to be.
gonna
It has to have to
yeah,
be
we're gonna
neutral.
do that with triggers. We just
Okay.
want to set up the place where they're gonna be in.
Okay, so whereabouts do you imagine that being? We could say.
Well, okay, maybe we can actually start by having like a couple soldiers here, and then you rescue them as you walk them by.
Okay.
But maybe there's something like in the mountain that's kind of still not out of the way.
So maybe there's a dog attacking some soldiers here that we'll place later.
Wait, no, I meant like a neutral unit that you walk by.
Oh, okay.
Just thinking, what would be interesting?
This is impromptu game design.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Also, what's with this bridge? You can just skip the bridge.
If you walk across it, maybe someone spawns. Then you have to fight like a, I don't know, what can you fight on the bridge?
Maybe you should just have.
Is it like a trick bridge?
Trick bridge.
Trick bridge. Maybe we can get some ideas. Are there any kind of, what can the Twitch chat give us?
Well, I think we need to show them the triggers.
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
So let's maybe.
So
Yeah, just break the bridge, I think, just so not with
No,
doesn't
doesn't look great. It's
fine.
It's fine.
Just there we go.
No, there's just no bridge.
It looks like there's a bridge that was once there. Actually, hang on, how about this? We'll get some real world building in. I think we have some floating debris. Oh wow, look at that.
What's the bulk?
It's like some planks of wood, right? This is good stuff. There's a log here. It's not over here. This is a good start. Should we just finish it off?
Yeah, let's kind of just go on, and as we go, we can add more stuff. As people see what we can change the size of the map later on. I believe that works. Haven't tried lately, but sure.
Should we have to go into this?
What is this?
Strangely
Symmetrical. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not nice.
Okay.
And then this would be like the Felheim base of operations.
Yeah.
So I guess the tower should be there, right?
Yeah, sure. The headquarters.
And entering there, Ragnar will spawn so you can have your showdown.
Yeah.
How will they decorate? So obviously you need some flags, blue flags.
On the mountains, maybe?
Who's marking here? Then there's some more bones, just to let you know. No, I can throw a sign. I can throw a sign here to let you know which
In
way
case you
to
get
go.
lost, right?
Yeah,
Send
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Oh, also there's some shipwrecks because of the plundering recently. These nice flowers. I thought there's some flowers around the lake. Okay. There's a little well here, it's just nice. Good corner there.
Alright, I think we can start setting up some.
Okay.
Let me.
So this is basically where you want to take over, right? And show
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
show us the ropes.
Maybe
So-
save first.
Yeah, that was what I was gonna
Just
say.
in case
Just
of,
in case. I'm gonna exit. Saves. Back there. Map. Okay. So first of all, at the start, well, we should actually have placed some enemy units, but let's just do that now. Let's say at the
Well,
start.
do we need to, or can you just spawn every enemy in?
We could, but that's not really.
Yeah, you don't want
Okay,
to look
okay,
like you're
yeah.
travelling down a blank path.
Okay.
Let's say we have 2 soldiers is not that.
Soldier and a spearman.
Yeah, sure. But maybe even 2 spearmen. To get the so let's say that as you're going by here, there's 2 soldiers that are ready to join your cause, right? Now, currently you don't place neutral units. That's something you'll probably be able to, but because it requires some strange decision on what faction they are, you don't currently. But we're just gonna spawn them procedurally. So I'm gonna create an area called starting soldiers. What color do I set for this?
Someone's asking if you can break the bridge. Is there an action to place tiles?
Not currently, but all of the actions are kind of subject to changing.
Yeah.
Right now what I'm doing is I'm painting an area here. And I'm going to use this area to spawn 2 units, and I'm also going to make it so when the commander enters this area, she's going to recruit those soldiers to her cause. So, let's do this. I'll go to Defense Editor, and you start with 2 victory and defeat condition. I actually want to change the defeat condition. Okay, let me explain how this whole stuff works.
Bring it down.
Yes. The way it works is you can have multiple triggers in a map. Each trigger has a set of conditions and actions. When the conditions for a trigger are fulfilled, then all of the actions execute. So it's a very simple if this then that. This preset defeat condition, for example, it's set to trigger only once, and it's set to act on every player that is on the map, even though we only actually have 2. And the condition for this is, if the current player has exactly 0 units anywhere, then that player is eliminated. It's quite straightforward how this works, right? It's just you can just read the intent. But we don't want player 2, which is the blue player here, to die if you kill other units. You only want them to die if you defeat their commander. So I'm going to disable this for player 2. In fact, these are not in the game, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get rid of them. But if player 1 loses all their units, they're still gonna lose. There's also a victory condition, which is triggered once for all the players. If the player has 0 opponents, then they win. That one's fine, we can leave that one in. So what I want to do, first of all, is create a condition for spawning the new soldiers. So,
should we go full screen? Full screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Full cam?
Which one?
Oh,
Mm-hmm. That's better.
Yeah. Okay, so spawn soldiers. I'm gonna only run this for player 1. So, I want at the start of the turn, and this is only trigger once, so it will only happen on the first turn. At the start of the turn, I will spawn. Let's say I want to spawn soldier, starting player for a player neutral. I'll do the same thing again. In fact, let's do a different unit. Which other unit should we do?
Archer?
Archer's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're seeing here, you've
Yeah.
got a preview of the action in plain text, and obviously the colors of various variables that you can set. So in this case, we're spawning an archer at starting soldiers, which is the location Rodrigo defined earlier.
Yep.
And for team neutral.
Yeah.
Which
Player's gonna have control of those. So to recap this whole action, this action is this trigger is given only to player 1. It's only gonna trigger once. It's gonna trigger at the start of the turn, and what's it gonna do? It's gonna spawn a soldier at starting soldiers for neutral, and then an archer at that location for neutral. I think we can start by just verifying that this works. So let's play. So at the start of the first turn,
Nice!
they will spawn. We have 2 neutral units spawned there. But they are not yet under your control, and there's currently no way to do that. But we're going to make a new trigger, which we're going to call Capture Soldiers?
Rescue.
Yes, that's more wholesome.
this is humanitarian effort
Yeah.
here.
Exactly. We're going to liberate the soldiers. So, okay, what's the condition for rescuing the soldier?
Messiah goes into that same area, right?
Yeah, okay, so this is the full list of the conditions we have. I skipped over this before, but now that you see how it works, you can make triggers activate based on flags that you can set for the campaign or for the map, on whether it's the end of the turn, the start of the turn, based on the current turn number, the current player, the number of opponents you have left, or, for example, what we're going to use is unit presence. Now, unit presence lets us specify a condition that triggers when a player brings essentially a unit somewhere or removes a unit from somewhere, right? So I'm going to say, okay, if the current player has at least one unit at starting soldiers, so that is, this trigger will activate as soon as I bring, let me close this real quick, as I bring one unit to this location, right?
One unit being Messiah in this case.
Yes.
That's the only one you have.
Few interesting things happening on there that I'm gonna have to fix later, but no big deal. When the current player, and again this only works for player 1, when the current player has at least one of any unit, like say the commander, at a location, then I'm going to run the action convert unit. I'm gonna convert any unit from player neutral at starting soldiers to the current player.
Do neutral soldiers move?
Neutral soldiers do not move, they're just idling units, they cannot be attacked, or they cannot attack, there's no AI controlling them.
Okay.
So they'll just be sitting there really. Right, so let's test that this step works. Okay, so they still spawn. Now hopefully when I finish moving here,
Hey, now we have
captures-
some soldiers to use.
Yes, now I have those soldiers which I can use to attack. Should probably check the move range from there.
Now I think that this is a little bit of a difficult first encounter. You're outnumbered, so maybe we could make it a little bit easier by giving Messiah her full groove at the start of the game, so she can heal them straight away.
Don't know if I implemented that yet.
All right, okay.
So maybe not.
But we are going to be able to change Commander's groove.
Yeah,
right.
I don't think it's working yet. No, it's not. Sorry. Next time.
Terrible retreat.
Resign?
If you're in the stream.
No, I want to exit. Go back to my bed, alright?
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna have this battle. I think we can still win this battle. It might be a bit tough
Yeah, it's winnable. It's winnable.
with the commander, but we can set up a healing area here, right? The thing that Jay was alluding to earlier.
Is Ragnar's theme currently playing from battle? I think the music is just has a reset.
Yes, it is,
Oh, nice.
because it was on player 2's
Yeah.
turn, right?
I'm going to answer some questions.
That sounds good.
So, someone asked if there's gamepad compatibility. The game is already compatible with a gamepad. The only part that isn't right now is the editor, which is why we're using a mouse. But it's going to be. It's just a little bit more complicated, so it's taking a bit longer. But everything else is gamepad compatible. You can play it already. It's got its own UI interface for it and everything.
Yeah, if you look at how the everything's set up, everything has been designed with gamepad in mind. There is never any screen where there's more, like you'll just be able to go down the options and select them. This was a lot of work, right? As I'm sure you remember.
All of the
We spent all
buttons
of this-
changed to
Yeah.
controller buttons and everything else, so it works pretty flawlessly.
I feel like we need more units to recruit in this map.
Someone's asking if we're going to have a demo. I don't know, it's not something we've thought about just yet. I mean, demos are kind of becoming a bit less common in general, but it might be nice to. I know the Switch has a number of demos available, and I've played a bunch of those and that's been nice, so yeah, we'll consider it.
Okay, so this trigger I'm setting up now is we have this lake here, and I'm gonna make this one a repeat trigger, so this trigger will keep happening forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be available for every player. And what's gonna happen is, let's say, it should be at the start of the turn. Yeah, it should be at the start of the turn. So at the start of the turn, it will modify the health of any unit at, oh, I didn't give it a name, at the lake. For the current player, I'm gonna add 10%?
No, more than 10%.
20%?
No.
50%? 100%? Just set it to 100%.
Just set several, okay.
Okay, fine. I mean, you want to move on to your next fight, right? You don't want to hang around in the...
Fair enough. Okay, let me rename this location.
Someone's asking, would it be possible to download campaigns and maps on the Switch if you've designed them on PC? And the answer should be yes. We're working pretty hard to make sure that's the case. It will just be one in-game repository where you can download other people's user-made content.
The exception being on PC if you have mods.
Yeah, so the game will be moddable, which means you can, add your own art or whatever else. Obviously, that's not really doable on a console right now. So that's PC only, and we'll probably look for Steam Workshop support for that.
Let's see. So now I'm setting up the graveyard. I'm gonna create a second area for the graveyard ambush, which is where the enemies will spawn. So let's say we'll probably spawn 2.
Okay.
I think. Maybe like those 2 places, right?
Sounds good. What happens if one of your units is on a tile and something spawns there?
Yeah, this is actually a bit of an open question. We currently, we'll try to find a place in a location where it can spawn. So in this case, we'll probably spawn first here, and then this place will be occupied. The second one will spawn here. If all the available spaces are taken, currently it will not spawn. We're discussing the possibility of having a second option that will telefrag units. So it will spawn by killing whatever is in its place. It's a bit of, I think the map designer should maybe have the control, but we also don't want anything too unexpected to happen. So I don't know. Let us know. What do you think?
Couple more questions. Anamonomonomy is asking if we could rotate between some commanders between testing so they can hear more of the...
It's not meant to be playing Matt Ragnar's theme right now, I think.
Yeah, but we could rotate it. What else? Let's see. Someone's concerned that Woneat is concerned that Mercia's blue hair might make her look like a member of the blue team. We actually had the same concern, but in testing it hasn't tripped anyone up yet. I think it's worth sort of pointing out that the commander you choose has a massive effect on the game, and so you're very tuned into what commanders belongs to each team and everything else. It just hasn't been an issue. If it becomes an issue, we'll look into it.
I think a way of describing it is that the commanders become so heavily identified with the faction that the design supersedes the faction color.
In part, I mean, obviously you can change the faction color as well,
true.
and you can have 2 of the same faction battling each other.
We could change Mercia's color right now to orange.
Yeah, but it's a fair point, and if it does become an issue, it's something you can change quite easily. But so far, it just hasn't.
Do you want to change Mercia to orange?
Sure. Orange. Orange is not the biggest difference, especially on a compressed stream. I'm not sure how much it's
Pink?
Black.
Black's pretty cool.
Black is kind of like stealth. It's like a stealth mission.
That's a bit of a stretch, but okay.
Oh, pink is
stealthy pink.
Stealthy pink, yeah. That's color for stuff. Sure.
Let's go for it.
Green is the best color when you enable chroma key.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
We could make player 2 black, because then
sure.
Just so they're showing us different colors from.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, we talked about. Oh, I did change it to black. So I've set up the second ambush. There is another ambush we wanted to do here. Maybe we should do something else.
Let's do something else. It doesn't need to be ambush the game.
Yeah.
Maybe
I have an
comes
idea.
out of the forest and joins you like some dogs.
Well, let's see what Rodrigo comes up with, because he's way more familiar with the triggers than we are at this point.
Well, I had thought of something. You could have some villages, like here maybe, I guess.
No.
And then you can capture them to get some money. Now, you don't have anything to spend the money on, but we could have, let's say here, I'm gonna create a new location, which is I'm gonna it's called golem spawn, and on golem spawn, yeah. And I'm also gonna have another one right in front of him, like workshop or something. Different colors for this. Okay, so my idea is maybe we'll spawn a neutral golem here, and you can come here and recruit him, but you can only recruit him if you can pay for him. Yeah.
I see.
So at this point, we'd probably play a conversation or something.
Yeah,
Is that worth clarifying?
Yeah, so one thing that's worth mentioning is that we're not ready to show it off yet, but there will be a cutscene editor where you can have dialogue between two of the characters or just one character or whatever it is. So whilst what we're doing here is all just playing out in the map, when that's ready, you could have, say, a character pop up and say, oh, I don't have enough money to buy a golem, or whatever it is. So that kind of brings a lot of life to the maps.
Surf return. I could have used the same condition actually to spawn the golem that I'm using to spawn the other guys. Definitely. Hold on. Spawn. It's giant, right?
Yeah, the golem is the cherry stone giant.
So like golem for neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Now let's have my golem trigger. Now, yeah, trigger ones, so player one. Okay, so the conditions for this are, first you have to be there, so again, current player has at least one, should it be Mercia specifically? Or any unit? Could be,
I think Mercia should have to go there.
yeah. It's not entirely tough, it should work.
The workshop, right?
Yeah, at the Golem Workshop. Okay, so if you bring at least one commander to the Golem Workshop,
so we add a second condition in this case,
yes.
because you need to be in the workshop, plus you need to have enough gold.
yes, I'm gonna add the funds condition. If the current player has at least, how much should the Golem cost?
1,200?
Well, that's,
Not so much the cost.
yeah, that's what it costs in the game, yeah.
It's just quite so specific when you said like that.
I think it should cost 1,233. Or maybe 1,199, you're getting the little discount. No,
And 99p.
As the action for that, first of all, you pay for it. So what if I go, current player will subtract 1,200 gold, and we will convert the unit, from neutral at the golem spawn to the current player.
But so, an example of how this could have gone with the dialogue editor. So one thing you mentioned earlier, but we didn't really explain, is that you have flags and counters, right? So flags and counters, they're pretty much what they sound like. So a counter tracks an integer, so it could be a number that just counts up, and say, I don't know, every time you kill a unit, it adds 1 to the counter, for example, and then when you reach 10, you get a bonus, or it does something, some action plays out. And flags, you just set a flag, a value, and you say it's true or false. And depending on whether it's true or false, you have an action play out. Now, for example, one of the things you're going to be able to do with the dialogue editor is set the value of flags and counters. So, for example, we could have it so that when you go into that area, rather than be based on gold, an encounter could happen, some dialogue could happen, and then depending on what choices you make, it sets a different flag or counter, and that golem could be friendly or unfriendly depending on your choices, and you have to deal with a golem or you've gained a golem. So it's really powerful in that sense. The way, and I think flags and counters in particular, alongside all of these different triggers, will allow you to do some really, really.
Yeah, we could have.
Like an example I was just thinking of as you could have like a knight who's there from the start of the map, but he only joins you if you kill 10 enemies.
Yeah,
He's like, I have seen your worth, and he just joins you. Yeah. And it counts up every time you kill an enemy, it counts to 10, and when you hit 10, it plays a cutscene where he joins you, and then he just becomes your.
We could do some things with the flag. For example, we could have it so you can buy the golem, but if you do, then Ragnar at the end also summons her own golem.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do that. It's a bit unfair, but it's just a stream, right? So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to.
Yeah, it's worth clarifying. We're not trying to make a balanced map here.
No,
This isn't even the kind of map you'd see in the game. This probably.
A few people are saying, coming up with some ideas here now. So
Okay.
someone says, so with flags and counters, you could make a map where hero units basically level up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
You can also, someone said they can imagine a roulette map, which is interesting, but you can have
Roulette map.
conditions that set a flag or a counter to a random value.
Yeah, we could have that.
So, yes, I'm not sure exactly how that would work. Maybe you
you should just gamble. You go to like a spot and
yeah, you
someone's
could
like,
go to a...
do you want to roll the die? And you got a cutscene dialogue option and you press yes, and then it's like, it might give you a golem or it might spawn
So
an
yeah,
golem
you
or
could
dragon.
basically, if counter, if a certain counter...
Broken.
Oh, did you break something?
I broke something.
Uh-oh.
That's
Yeah,
like
you
the
can
point.
have something, so if a certain counter is set to like value 6, then a cutscene plays that says, oh, you rolled a 6 and here is the money you earned, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth.
Let's set up also the finale for the battle, right?
Someone suggests if you have enough kills, maybe then the golem joins you because he's
Oh,
he's proud of
that's
you.
pretty good actually.
Yeah, that could work, absolutely.
Basically, you can create like entire mini RPGs in like a single map.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of what we're doing
Well,
here.
not just, see, this is part of what's special as well. So yes, you can do all of this on a single map, but you can also do all of this across a campaign. So whilst there are map flags and map counters, there are also campaign flags and campaign counters. So it could be that being defeated in this map doesn't lose you the entire campaign, it just sets a flag and says, okay, you lost this battle. And then later on in the campaign, if you lost that battle, then maybe because you didn't defeat Ragnar, she appears in another map, or if you beat the battle, she doesn't appear and it takes a different turn. So there's a whole campaign,
I
basically.
really like this idea. Someone said you find the scattered pieces of the golem on the map and then rebuild it.
Oh,
So you could have
that's
like
cool.
you could have a bunch of spots where it's like
Yep.
you go there, it triggers a cutscene where the says, "Oh, I found this farm,"
Yep.
and then there's like another place somewhere on the map where someone has a cutscene where it like checks to see if you got the pieces, and if you do, they're like, "Oh, I can make you a golem."
Do you think we should reveal a little bit in the stream about our content flags?
Up to you.
So
Might be a good
yeah,
idea.
sure. I mean, so we have a bunch of different types of content in the game, and the reason the triggers are, you know, quite new to the engine right now is because a lot of the content that we're planning doesn't require them, but a lot of it does. So we're kind of working primarily on the content that doesn't require them first, although we can't help but make use of them here and there. And then what that looks like is there's a number of different modes in the game, and some secrets and things which I won't reveal. But the primary modes, we have what we're calling arcade mode, we have what we're calling campaign mode, and we haven't quite got the name now down for it yet, but it's kind of like a
Singular mission.
puzzly kind
Yeah.
of mode, but I'll kind of talk a little bit about each of them. So arcade mode is kind of what it sounds like. You get a character select screen, you choose one of the characters from across the entire roster of commanders, and each one basically goes on a mini campaign. So there are going to be at least 12 campaigns in arcade mode. They'll probably each consist of about 6 different encounters. You'll start off arcade mode by learning a little bit about that commander's motivation, why they want to. We haven't talked a lot about the story yet, and I don't want to spoil things, but why they're going into battle. You'll meet their rival commander somewhere close to the end of the campaign. They'll have a bit of a dialogue. You'll learn sort of who their big rival is and everything else. And then there will be a boss battle, and then you'll finish the arcade mode. And it's kind of a non-canon what-if mode. So you'll learn what would happen if that commander sort of won the day and won the war. And it's really nice because it gives us a lot of opportunities to explore each of these different commanders. A bit like a fighting game where you pick a character and you play through the arcade mode and you learn about that character and what they do as a result. And so that's one mode. And one of the reasons we wanted to include that was because this is a game that an individual battle can last a long time. It can be hours long. Campaign mode is going to be huge and sprawling and many hours of gameplay. So we wanted something that you could also just pick up and put down. And what it will do is it will track your progress through each of the different campaigns. You don't have to do it in one sitting because maps can still take quite a while. But it's still more of a sort of shorter bite-size game mode. The next game mode is campaign mode. Now this is kind of like the canon story of Wargroove. So you won't get to choose which commander you play as, it will change those for you. We're going to hopefully include quite a number of them, if not all of them. That's still something we're nailing down. But campaign mode is going to be very story driven. It's going to have more cutscenes than arcade mode, which will be very cutscene light, so you don't have to constantly scroll through text just to play a game. And it's going to make really, really heavy use of these triggers. So a lot of the maps will be asymmetrical. There will be various different game modes, different objectives. We'll have things that maybe carry over to a later map using campaign flags. We'll even have branching missions and stuff like that. And there's a number of secrets we're planning to include. You know, if you speak missions a certain way, it branches off to a different mission and so on. And the secret missions are going to be our opportunity to do really crazy things with the editor, like include whole new game modes, stuff like that. And then the last mode I mentioned is, we don't have a name for it yet, but we're kind of calling it puzzle mode. Is basically you get a list of maps, each one more finely tuned than maps you might see in arcade mode or the campaign mode. Which we can't tune those. I mean, we're going to spend a lot of time on them, but they won't be as balanced as these maps by virtue of the fact that, you know, you can bring units forwards from a previous map, and then there's all these campaign flags going on. But the puzzle mode are maps that are basically just normal skirmishes, and they are going to be much more difficult. You're going to get a rating depending on how well you're doing them, so it's your opportunity to get, you know, S rank over these different missions. You'll have to be really good at the game to get S rank all of these missions. It's kind of like a challenge mode. It's kind of, if you've really earned your stripes, I like the waterfall. If you've really earned your stripes in Wargroove, it's, you know, where you go to show that off. And then of course, you know, we have the multiplayer modes. We've got local multiplayer where you can choose any number of AI or human-controlled factions or different teams or not. You'll be able to change all of the rules, so you can have fog of war, choose a season, so on and so on and so on. Everything you'd expect. We'll have online multiplayer, which is asynchronous, so you will be able to play online against, hopefully with cross-platform. That's looking more and more likely now. We can't say 100% for sure until, you know, that's all nailed down, but it's looking more and more likely that it'll be cross-platform. It's asynchronous, you can have multiple games on the go at once, and then you can just jump in and out of games and take your turn. We have obviously the campaign and map editor. We'll have the sharing feature where you can download those campaigns and maps. And then we've got a few extra things that we're not quite ready to talk about yet, but, you know, just the kind of extras, the cherry on top of the package, where you'll get fun things to collect and stuff like that. And that's generally what's going to be the Wargroove package. I think it's going to be quite robust.
You're doing some interesting things, yeah.
Let's talk about. Sorry, I went on for a long time there.
What I'm doing right now is the flags are for some reason not working on this build, but the counters are, I think. So I'm using a counter instead of a flag. So I did the golem thing. So when you buy the golem, it sets the golem's bot counter to 1. And then when Ragnar spawns, I have added a new event that checks if golem's bot is at least 1, and if so, Ragnar also spawns her own golem.
Okay.
So we've done that. I've put those 2 flags here, and I've put 1 location in each. And now what I'm setting up is, if you go to both of those locations, we can make the golem be cheaper to buy.
Okay.
So it's like you found some parks and that helps, something like that. Of course, without cutscenes, it's hard to show the narrative, but so.
Do you have Ragnar actually spawning right now?
I have set it up like that, yes.
This is almost ready to go, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna urge you to save what you've done so far.
It's a very good idea. Let me just modify. Oh, I don't have the other counter.
Some more questions. Someone's asking, will there be weather like rain, snow, etc.? Yes. In fact, we're testing out a seasonal system. So one of the things that we weren't hugely fond of in other turn-based strategy games is the fact that weather, you kind of do one or two things with weather, right? Either it has a massive game-changing effect, in which case it's kind of unfair if it just happens randomly because you might be winning and then, oh, the weather kind of screwed me. or you kind of make it a bit weaker and it doesn't really have that much of an effect, in which case it's kind of boring. So we tried to do it a little bit differently. So we wanted to have a big gameplay effect, we want it to be game changing, but we want you to be able to predict that it's coming. So as a result, we implemented a season system. And so, for example, when the season reaches winter, you know that there's a really high chance of snow. We also have a bit of a weather forecast. We're experimenting with that. We want to figure out exactly how much information to show you. But yeah, we will have weather, and it's a little bit more predictable, so you can prepare for it, but it makes the game a bit more dynamic. Okay, parts found. So these are the golem parts then.
Yeah, so I'm using a counter as a flag. So when you go in the first location, it will set found part 1, set 1. In fact, I don't actually have to do this, do I? Because it's only going to trigger once. So this is actually kind of pointless. Make sure that we remove this. Right, so when you go there, it will add parts found 1, add 1 up. If I bring any unit to the flag 1 location, it will add 1 to parts found counter. And I'm gonna make a new one. Yeah, 2. Again, only for player 1. If I bring anyone there, one unit at flag 2. I will counter part found at cool. Now I can modify the buy golem event. So we have, okay, if current player has at least 1 commander at Golem Workshop and the funds are at least this much. But I also want to set if golems.
Can you not buy it unless you found the parts?
Yeah, I think you should have to have the parts and then use the workshop.
So you might want
Sure,
to make
yeah,
it
okay, that's a mic.
That's pretty simple, right?
Wait, so you don't have to pay? Or
No, I think you
less?
should have to pay as well. But you can't buy it unless you have to.
Yeah.
Right, for it's 1200
So you have
still?
to go to those 2.
Okay. So I would just add the condition that if the map counter parts found is at least 2. Okay, so to buy golem now, you need to have a commander at the golem workshop, you need to have at least 1200 gold and have found at least 2 parts, which is all there is. And then it will subtract the gold, convert the unit, and set it to 1. I really hope this works because there's so many parts to this.
Are we
It's
basically
got a
done?
little more complicated than we
Shall we
expected.
actually like test this out?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
save
sure,
it
let's
and
test
test
it.
it.
I haven't actually done the victory condition, but that's fine.
Someone's asking, will we be able to use triggers to create weather? So that's definitely something we should hook up, actually. We
Yeah.
hadn't thought of that yet. We've been
There's
making
lots
lists of triggers,
Yeah.
and there's a ton of them we have written down, but that's a good one, yeah.
So now I'm actually playing our map we've made.
Oh, I set the second player to be human.
That's fine, just it's
I'll
a test,
pretend
right?
to be an AI.
Well, why don't we play against, give me a mouse. I'll play against you. I'll be the AI.
Okay.
I mean, I only have 3 units, but...
So what events do we have? We've got the ooh. We want to take out that sign there, right? Let's go for that. So this fight with our incredible pink archers. With the magic lake, so when we get to the lake that can heal the units. Those flags mark parts of golem. Once it gets to the
Oh
graveyard.
no, you're eliminating my crit potential.
Yeah. Have we talked about the crits on stream?
We have, but just to summarise, every unit in the game has the potential to do a critical hit if certain conditions are fulfilled. And the spearmen, their critical condition is to stand next to other spearmen, which is really interesting because you end up moving them in kind of like Tetris-y shapes to try and get the crits all the time. Okay. This isn't going too well for Mr. Bonesy.
He's going to take a trip.
Take a trip.
Anyway,
Oh, right.
if he survives.
Oh yeah, I could use that. I'm the AI. Yeah.
I'm not actually killing here.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
good stuff.
thank you. Okay, so now I have to make sure this dude survives this. Let's see. Let's see, you can kill this guy, probably. Actually, not certain. Oh, you can definitely.
So yeah, a critical hit always triggers if you meet the conditions, but the conditions are different for every unit. So the archer gets a critical hit if they don't move and attack in the same turn,
Which just happened.
which just happened. Yeah. Soldiers get a critical hit if they're next to their commander. So sending soldiers in with a commander in a little squad is quite powerful. The spearmen, as I said, next to other spearmen. Knights have to charge a long distance to get their critical.
What is the goal? Of
Dragons critical all the time because they're so powerful, unless it's raining.
But you don't have anything to do, so I'm just gonna.
Okay, sure. Okay, so you've taken a bunch of damage, especially that unit.
And now,
But hopefully
this works.
he's going to jump into the
Is
healing
that
spring.
the start of the
Start of next turn,
Right,
have to wait
okay,
a
so I
turn.
have to wait.
Have to have a bath.
Meanwhile, let's capture
Meanwhile,
this.
Messia's capturing the.
Making some money.
She needs some money so she can
yeah.
get the golem. Yeah.
Oh, the golem did spawn. We hadn't actually checked, but there it is.
Okay.
Someone's asking, could you make the resign button far from the end turn button? Because it's
Ah.
scary. Well, first of all, we will change it, but
Yeah.
don't worry, there's
There
a
is
confirmation dialogue.
That was really risky, right?
Yeah, I wasn't convinced that was going to work. I was wondering why you did
Okay,
that.
so this worked. The soldier is now back at full health.
Nice, okay.
The other two units haven't been injured, so. We should probably have made it so that at the start of the turn it heals your units. I think it's set to heal units for every player, so it healed my soldier on your turn.
Alright, yeah.
But that's fine.
It's fine, he distributed the
Health.
health balls. Oh, maybe you did do it right and it was just a passive healing. Commanders have passive healing.
No, it was the soldier.
The general soldier heal.
The soldier is back to full health.
Right, but he's in the string.
Yeah, but he was fully healed on your turn.
Oh, I see, okay.
Oh no, it was actually right. It was actually my fault. Yeah, no, it was. We already said it. Never mind. Okay, so I've captured those three, so that should give me 300 gold per turn. Fine. Skip some turns here.
Someone's suggesting a cursor trigger so you get text if you move the cursor over a certain place.
That's cool.
It's interesting.
If you move the cursor,
Like a little text box that comes over. Maybe a hint.
Definitely an interesting one.
so for this next step, we don't actually have any feedback at this point. Oh, group.
No!
Well, apparently the counters are not working.
That's fine.
This is what happens. Wait.
We can still demo the rest of the.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
keep going. I
don't-
get to fight you again, and maybe I'm victorious this time.
Yeah.
You might want to turn it to AI this time.
Sorry?
I want to turn it to AI.
Yeah,
this time.
that's a good point. I should.
R.I.P.
Yeah. I actually got to head off, so
Okay.
All right.
I'll leave you guys in the stream. Thanks very much for watching, and I'm sure these guys will have a fun time doing the rest of
Jay has
this.
a date.
Hopefully fewer crashes.
Wish Jay luck. It's fine.
Goodbye.
Okay. Okay. So actually, let me have a look. What might have crashed? That was probably the only unusual thing is set counters. So I guess setting counters. I guess I broke counters and flags today. It's kind of nice, but
That's
sorry
fine.
about that.
Yeah, they were working yesterday,
Yeah.
so. Someone is asking, will you be able to play downloaded player maps online with friends, and will sharing of maps be cross-platform?
First part, definitely yes.
Second part,
Platform,
probably yes.
hopefully yes. It's definitely within our.
I think we can say probably at this point.
Yeah.
Can we? Yeah, I think we can. If the AI beats you, it's quite embarrassing for me.
Yeah, it is, but
But it's not going to happen.
The
Because,
AI is-
I mean, actually, it's more embarrassing for you. You shouldn't be losing this battle.
the AI did something quite annoying. Oh no! It's
no,
for the
computer
catch.
thinking.
So the AI has only had a very rough pass. So one of the things that you're going to be able to do with the map editor as well is specify the AI profile and maybe do some more advanced things like telling the AI to do something specific in a certain situation. So you can have a map where the AI is basically just sitting there waiting for you, or it's very aggressive or very defensive, protecting some specific location. but this is not implemented yet. So
Someone's asking, well, not asking, someone says it's their first time seeing the game, which is lovely, and it looks beautiful, which is our artists, they're doing a wonderful job. And they said they have so many questions, and ask away, and we'll try to answer what we can.
you know what's funny? I'm actually getting.
Are you
for the
losing?
guy.
Oh my god.
I made some very silly moves there.
Oh my god. Rodrigo.
Okay. Can I?
Marcia should be able to sort this out.
Yeah, especially because the other experiment is more preoccupied with capturing goodies. You see, I was thinking, they're going for the thing. I'm not even gonna bother. That was clearly. I'm not gonna be able to. Okay, I'm gonna move you
I
back.
think you're going to lose a unit.
No, I think I can move. I can put Mercy in the path. Put the other soldier back. All the way back so I can't reach him. How's Mercy's group? Yeah, then I can hit. But if I don't attack this one, Archer. The Archer is in range. This is not ideal. Pretty sure either of them can kill the Archer.
Yep.
So I should probably kill this guy. Hit this guy first. Or should I kill this? You could probably go for the commander if I don't. It's just not necessary. I might actually go for the commander instead. Who knows what AI does? This is not an ideal situation.
I mean, you programmed it.
This sucks. Not very good AI. Okay.
Really selling
A
that
little bit of drama there as it's catching those. I went for that.
What a shame.
Well, I didn't need those archers anyway. Okay, just fine without archers. Okay, just going to. Okay. Get the defensive bonus.
Was that a good idea?
Yeah.
I think that because of your defensive bonus,
Well, I can
AI
move him out of range now, right?
Yeah,
He doesn't move
okay.
very far.
Fine. Someone's asking, does the game have an ETA on release? We're aiming for Q1 next year. To be completely honest, we are going to just take as long as it takes to make it what we want it to be. So we're not really holding ourselves to that, but that's our current goal.
You know what's more annoying? That capturing those cities now. Well, I'm not gonna capture those because the golem thing's not working. That's fine. Just gonna go. No, I don't want to move. In this range.
How did this become so tactical?
It wasn't supposed to be. I've made terrible mistakes.
Where's he going? He's going to come and capture that city as well.
Oh yes, of course he is. Okay, you can.
I mean, to be fair, it probably is the best move.
Yeah, I mean, see if I can lure him to attack me instead of. Okay.
That's that backstab. No backstab. Backstab in this game.
Should we have face in the game? Okay.
Someone asked, will the map editor be on Switch? Yes, it will. Someone asked, does anyone know what programming language was used to make this game? It's written in C++.
That's correct.
With some Lua involved.
Yes.
And it's on an engine called Halley, which is Rodrigo's own engine, written from scratch. It's very nice. It's open source. You can go and check it out.
Yeah, it's on GitHub if you'd like to check.
Someone says the music is neat. Who's in charge of it? Phonetic Hero. He already answered actually, but yes, Phonetic Hero in the chat is doing all of the music and it's very good.
Okay, so let's trigger that ambush. Should I heal first? I think I'm gonna heal a bit, just to be safe. I forgot what we're even spawning that ambush. I thought we were spawning the ambush.
Someone asked, I can't remember. What is the typical win condition in versus mode? So, in terms of skeletons rising from their graves, Halloween. So in versus mode, there are 3 ways to win. You either kill, well, kind of 2, but you kill all of the units, or you just kill the commander, assuming there is a commander. Versus maps can have no commander, which is where the 3rd way to win comes in, or you kill the HQ. In terms of what's most common, it's really interesting. I think this is actually one of the ways the game differentiates itself, and it makes it quite unique. Because losing your commander loses you the match. You find people want to, at first, when they first play the game for the first time, they want to be quite defensive of their commanders. But then you quickly learn that the commander is such a powerful unit that if you're defensive, you're probably going to lose, because the commander does loads of damage, has good health, and the grooves are getting more and more powerful as we balance the game more. We're finding that making powerful grooves is much more fun. So you have to strike this real balance between being aggressive with your commander and building up your groove meter, but not making a mistake and overextending and getting your commander killed. And we're finding that at sort of a mid-level of play, that's where most of the games are won or lost. People make bold moves with their commander and then they make a mistake, or people pull off a really cool sort of play with all of their units to tackle a commander. And so I'd say most games right now are finished with a commander dying, but the other conditions still work.
Yeah. Something interesting could have happened here is we added the condition that you have to get the parts to buy the golem. Otherwise, because that enemy soldier is there, I don't remember if I limited this trigger to only happen for player 1.
I don't think you did. So actually the
possible.
Enemy would have recruited the commander.
Because he got money, yeah.
He got the buildings, right?
4,800. So that would have been quite an interesting, unexpected side effect.
So someone asked what the grooves are. So every commander in a game has a unique power. Mercia's is a healing aura, and it heals all units in a very large radius now. It's been buffed a lot by quite a lot of health. We're still balancing the health. Other commanders have entirely different grooves. Right now, Valda, which is our sort of necromancer commander, he raises a skeleton from the ground, which is quite powerful because he can move, raise the skeleton then can move and attack, so he gets a really long range attack. Other commanders will be able to do things like teleport or swap their place with a unit and things like that. We want all of the grooves to be quite game changing. So we're finding the more powerful they are, the more fun they are. And the more important it becomes to build your commander's groove up with your by being aggressive and killing units, because your groove meter fills under various different conditions, one of which is to take damage, one of which is to deal damage, kill units, etc. So you can't really just sit back and build your groove meter. It will build slowly, but not fast enough.
In fact, I might use it right now to help you, the soldier, on the way to the boss. Yeah, I'll do that.
One of the things that we're adding for grooves is, so you saw a little heart animation there. We want them to become much more sort of magical looking and dramatic. So maybe by the next time we show off this groove, you'll see Mercia sort of like thrust her sword into the air, and there'll be a magical effect to make it like it's kind of the typical JRPG effects that you come to expect.
Yeah, a lot of the things you're saying are functional but not fully polished yet. So, and this, I guess, another one of the things we think is very important to get right with the game. Make sure everything feels nice and fun, right?
Everything has to feel satisfying and fun. Someone is asking, will we have touchscreen support on the Switch? Seems quite likely, right?
We could, yeah.
The game lends itself well to it. The map editor lends itself well to it. It's probably not too difficult for us to implement. The only thing that would hold us back, I think, is the experience of using the touchscreen. Is it right?
Exactly. That's the thing, right? Is we need to make sure it feels nice to play on it.
Yeah, we don't want to put in an experience that it works, but it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
But I think we can probably manage that. It's until we have it implemented. It's hard.
I just don't want to commit until we have tried it and it works well.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's not that many games on the Switch using this thing, are
No,
there?
there isn't at the moment. Actually,
there's a rhythm game.
Yeah, a few games have it on their menus, but not many.
Zelda doesn't, does it?
Zelda doesn't, no.
Okay, so at this point, assuming things went right, Ragnar should spawn and she should not have a golem companion because we
don't have a golem, right.
Yeah. Now it will be checking a counter. Hopefully that will not
yeah,
crash.
it could crash.
It could crash.
No? Okay.
I
Oh,
did.
yeah, it did.
Spawn her and
then check the counter.
then check the counter for the golem crashed. So, oh well, finishing a bit of
a bit of an anticlimax, but that's fine. But despite the bugs, which I bet you'll go off and fix them in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, we'll probably take
Despite the bugs, you can see how easy it is to make something quite complex. But you can go so much further with this. Do you want to give some examples?
Yeah, we were thinking you can have a map, for example, that is a King of the Hill map. The first player to control the center of the map for 5 turns wins the game, for example. You could have a map where every unit takes 5% damage every turn, so there's like a play going on, so all the units become kind of more disposable.
Well, and it's also not just because you're saying you can have a map that does that, and you can, but you can also have these things to be like the mechanics within a map. So maybe you kill a skeleton, and he warns you, if you kill me, I'm going to spread the plague.
Yeah.
And you do, and so on. It's really powerful. It's really powerful, and it's really exciting to see what people come up with it, I think.
Yeah, we're still experimenting with the limits of this, but I think there will still be a lot more things added to this.
It's funny how much flexibility you get as soon as you add flags and counters to such a simple set of rules. I mean, to some extent, it's like basic programming, right, through just the choices. Jay was desperate to show off Ragnar and her attacks, I think.
Oh, okay.
Should we do that? Should we just...
I can just place her here.
Yeah.
And,
Mars Greek God is asking, have we thought about some awkwardly sized units, like units that occupy a 1x2 tile, or 2x1 or 2x2 tile? We have been thinking about it. I don't know if we'll include any units that do that. It might be that we have support for it, and it might be that we might use it for a particular scenario or something. But what we're finding is that it's given the terrain defense mechanic. How much defense do they get if they're overlapping certain tiles? It's just not particularly intuitive.
Yeah, and also I think it kind of breaks the elegance of the core spirit of this kind of game, right?
A little bit. But that said, I think there are ways where you could use it in, potentially use it in a smaller way, and it might work.
Place her the other side, because otherwise I'm gonna trigger my soldiers.
She'll steal your soldiers. Actually, I think you set that one to player 1.
I think I did. I think I was. Let's check.
Wouldn't it have been funny though if you just played this and just stole your soldiers and?
Could do that, but it was probably not.
Someone's asking, can you put more than one commander on the same team in a campaign map? Yes, you can. You're going to be able to.
Yeah, currently the map editor just lets you place one, but you can spawn more with the triggers currently. So you could spawn multiple. We're investigating how it's going to work if you want to spawn, let's say, a commander from a different faction into your team. Like we can do the way we're doing now, you spawn them neutral and then you convert them to your player. We might maybe have a rescuable kind of player. Not sure how much sense it makes in turn-based game. There's a few things we're still experimenting to see what works best for this game. So let's have a look at.
Someone's asking, will you be able to use the editor, including the point-and-click interface here, with just using touch controls or a control pad interface? So control pad is definite. We've already prepped for that. Everything else works with the control pad. There's a few little things in here that don't yet, but they will. In terms of touch, we explained just now that it really depends on how good that experience is. But yes, you'll be able to do it with controller, and it'll be very, very simple to use. And as you can see, one of the important things to us was not just to make a powerful editor, it was to hide that complexity so that it wasn't intimidating for people that just want to jump in and draw a quick map and then play it with their friends. So all of the complexity is behind that events editor. And if you don't want to do that, you just drop things in and just point and click.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm
so-
gonna attack Mercian.
Did we last time we streamed? Did we show these nice new?
That's what I was
Status
wondering. I don't think we've shown this. I can't
No, maybe
remember.
not. So we've done a lot of work on the UI now. We kind of wanted to go with the paradigm of like zooming into the tile, which is really nice. It really puts the unit in space, so you can kind of see what they're up to. Obviously, it shows you what they're effective and vulnerable against. It shows any special properties in the top left, so this unit can capture buildings. Yeah, it's just got a bit of an overhaul.
Gives you some, like, for example, here it tells you when this unit does critical hits. So the archer, as you mentioned earlier, crits when it attacks without moving. It's actually, I don't know if we've talked, no, we've definitely talked about archers last time.
We
right?
have, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but they're interesting for being a ranged unit that can also move, but they still get a bonus if they decide not to.
There's a couple of questions. Someone's asking, can you randomly generate a map to start editing from? We don't have that functionality right now, and I'm not sure, to be honest, if we're going to add it. Just because what we find is that Wargroove maps, they tend to be very, very tactical, and I think it's not really going to get you very far to generate a random map. I think you'll end up just redrawing it all anyway.
Yeah.
And someone is asking, can you limit what the player can build on different kinds of buildings on the map? And yes, you will be able to do that. So if you want a map that has barracks and has the concept of recruiting, but you only want to be able to recruit dogs, you can.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to highlight this is not just a thing we're shipping with the game. This is what we ourselves are using to make the content of the game. So any kind of thing that you expect to see in a campaign of the game will be available here, because just as a consequence of it being the same tool. So I think that serves as a good baseline for what kind of features to expect. So I'm gonna attack Ragnar.
I think this might be the first time she's been shown publicly. She has a cool shield. She's a bit of a crazy, battle-hardened zombie. Not zombie. She's more of a Frankenstein's monster type.
Constructed from body parts and fallen warriors.
We aren't quite ready to show off her groove yet, but it's going to play to her nature of being this kind of crazy, out for blood, bit reckless character.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we forgot to show?
I mean, there's been quite a lot of new content since we last showed off, new units and whatnot, but
I think
we have to leave pretty soon.
so
So
I can
I
try
think-
showing something that I'm not sure. So I think it works. You should be able to just change tile sets after you
Yeah.
use it, and it works. The decorations don't change yet. They will have.
Yeah, we're going to skin the decorations per tile set, so that will just change as well. Right now, we just have all of them in one set, and you just choose the ones you want. But yeah, you can just change the line.
You can also resize the map after you edit it. This UI, by the way, is quite placeholder, but let's say you wanted to increase the map, you change, then we'll pet it with, and we just want to make it really easy for you to make cool things like this. But yeah, I think that's about it.
Someone's asking, can the levels that we make be opened in the editor so that people can learn something? I think our plan right now is to ship a few example levels that have that kind of thing in them so that you can open and learn something. I think that if you could just open all of them, it might be a bit overwhelming. And,
Yeah,
you know, you don't want to...
spoilery.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about that, but someone's asking about the unit matrix. Should we show that? I mean, we're constantly changing the balance after playtest, so I wouldn't read too much into it.
If we do, people are gonna screen cap this, and they're gonna. I mean, this is not correct.
I'm going to leave it up to you, Rodrigo.
Why
It's your call.
You're
It's your
giving me the
call.
call for this. He's also gonna show units that we haven't done yet, so probably better not.
Okay.
Next time.
You can all blame Rodrigo
Yes,
for this.
I will take full responsibility for not showing the unit matrix. People ask what it is, though. It's just this shows how much damage.
We're in,
units do.
so the game, when you launch the game with various different command line shortcuts, you get different modes, and it's a kind of developer mode, and it has things like the unit matrix, which just is what it sounds like. It shows us the damage of all units against all other units, so that we can. It helps us with balance. Is all.
Yeah, the actual menu of the game is still a little bit different.
Yeah, it's very different.
Okay, I think this is pretty much all.
I think that's it.
Show.
Yeah. We need to go off and do a pub quiz.
Oh yes, we did that.
But yeah, we'll show you more soon. As always, you can follow our blog where we post, content every now and then. You're smiling. I'm not doing the like and subscribe thing.
Hey guys, what's up? Please like and
We have a Discord, and the Discord, we're there quite a lot. We ask for feedback there. It's a really good place if you just kind of want to join in with development a bit and have your say and kind of, maybe see some content before we publicly launch it.
Yeah, Discord is really good if you're really interested in the game. Lots of interesting discussions happen there.
Yeah, that's true. And there's been such good feedback from there already, and a lot of it has made its way into the game. It's really useful for us to be able to run things by people and just get the community involved a bit in development. So you're more than welcome to join in. I guess thanks for watching us. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
You don't have to like us or subscribe to us. You're your own person.
It's
You
fine.
do
It's
as
fine,
you will.
Yes. Do as your heart commands. All right then. Thanks for watching tonight. And
In the meantime, enjoy Stardew Valley on the Switch.
yes,
I know a bunch of people are here because they're interested in that. There's a few issues. We have fixes coming for that soon. We've kind of nailed them down already, so that's good. Otherwise, it's doing really well. We're really happy. People seem to love it, which is great.
I see a bunch of my friends on the Switch playing
You were
Stardew
using
Valley
your
like
Switch the other day
24/7.
on the TV, and I saw it pop up that someone's playing Stardew Valley.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, great.
All right.
Thanks for listening to us ramble on and excusing our crashes.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I take full responsibility.
It's
for
terrible
that.
programmer work this one.
I will resign. Anyway, bye guys.
Bye guys, take care. Oh, do we mute first and then
I
switch
think
over
we
to
switch
the
to an end,
thing? Okay,
and
do
then
that.
we
do that.
mute. Now
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We're trying to figure out how many seconds we're supposed to leave it on a screen. What's the right amount of seconds?
Does it matter? I think I just end the stream now, right?
Okay. Goodbye for real.
Goodbye again.